Just Sean, right?
Yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah, I'm blind, bro.
No, it's okay. I figured you were probably looking for SHAWN or something.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. Sean, size 8 grade. Sean, size 8 grade.
I think that's them right there in the front. That
We
one.
got so many grades.
Yeah, I know. Those are like they was triple dip.
Yeah, Sean. SE. Nah.
Time to check that one. Thank you, man. YouTube, what's good? It's your guy Hitch. I hope everybody is enjoying the holiday season and getting your holiday shopping done safely. If you're anything like me, you haven't started yet, but you got a week. If my family's watching, I'm gonna get it together. Don't worry. Before we get into the video, I want to thank a few people. If you've ever commented about the sound quality of my videos, I've probably spoken to you, I noticed it, and I most importantly appreciate it. I appreciate all constructive criticism, so thank you for that. I've been working through setups and different mics. I believe I have the solution now. So this video and all the videos to come, I hope the production is 1,000 times better. So thank you, especially to people that have been holding me down and watching these videos. That's out the way. While you guys are here, and to explain the noise canceling pack in the title, some of you may not be familiar with it. To those that do, I'm going to break it down for you, and those that don't, I'm here for you. Before we get to that, I'm going to make one disclaimer. This is going to be a long video. So if you're only here for on the feats, skim through the video and find what you're looking for. But if you're here to learn about and to know what's really going on at the House of Innovation in New York with the noise canceling pack, I'm your guy. So New York City has a store that no other city in America has. I'm not sure globally, but I know for sure there's no other store like this for Nike in the US. It's only in New York City. I believe the address is 650 Fifth Ave. At the House of Innovation, they allow you to customize your sneakers. So online you have Nike ID. This is way different. Over the next few months, they're gonna pick one particular shoe, and they're gonna give you about maybe 3 weeks to a month time to where you can come into the store and customize it the way you see fit. Right now they're doing the Jordan 1. They've been doing it since November 30th. It's going to end on the 20th. So if you like everything that I'm talking about in this video, you may want to head on over to the store, set your appointment, and get to work. So to explain the process, you cannot set an appointment online. You cannot set an appointment on the Nike Plus app. Trust me, I tried it, it didn't work. I set the appointment online based off of a conversation what I had with the customer service rep online. I went to the store to go and do my thing, and they said no. The only way you can set this appointment is at the store. Go to the store, pick out the size shoe that you want. Right now it's the Jordan 1. I believe next is going to be the Air Force 1. And then they're going to ask you about 4 questions. Do you want a dip dye? Do you want a print on the shoe? Do you want laser lining? And lastly, do you want to remove the swooshes? Once you answer those questions, they'll coordinate the appointment with you and you're good to go from there. The one thing I will recommend is try the shoe on before you buy it, because I went a half size down, which I typically do in all my Jordan 1s, and this particular shoe actually fits a lot more snug than the regular shoe. Just try the shoe on and I think you'll be fine. The clip that started this video was me arriving at the store, them validating who I am, my license or my ID, and then everything is set up for you, which is real cool. Your shoe's completely prepped. So when you answer those 5 questions, everything that you told them you wanted, it's supposed to be that way when you get there. Once you're there, the table is laid out with all your accessories, and I'll get to that in a second. There are some improvements I think Nike needs to make the experience better for the consumer, but everything's free range at that point. And then from there, they run down the process. But most importantly, start with your swoosh, because if you're picking a swoosh for them to embroider and sew in, they need to get that done out of the way first. And then secondly is your Dubray. It's going to be laser printed on there, and it takes time to do that. So get those two things out of the way, and from there you can take your time. I believe they give you a total of an hour. I think I took about an hour and a half. Once you have a full range of your accessories there, then you have the ability of creating something like this. I didn't mention the pricing, but we'll get to that in a second. But the box, this is the box the shoe comes in. So whether you dip, dye, and customize, or you buy it in the all-white form, this is the box that you're going to get. All black, red, logos all over, regular Nike stuff. And I got some paint splatter on it. I didn't do that. I guess it may have just happened. I'm not sure what these colors symbolize, but they are there. As far as the details, Air Jordan 1 High, noise canceling. I don't know what the XL stands for. I'm assuming the NC is noise canceling. Not sure the XL. Size 8. So again, I went down half size. I recommend trying the shoe on. Inside the box, after you've been there and customized, you're gonna have some leftover stuff. So these are the swooshes that I had removed. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to this in a second. And then the shoe comes with white laces. You can see here, paint splatter. I was testing out some of the colors. This is what they give you to test your colors out on. And then you have a screwdriver here, and I'm going to get to this in a second as well. But I kept everything that came with mine. Regardless if you dip, dye, and customize, the shoe is going to be priced at $190, which when you think about it, it's only $30 that you're paying to customize, and with tax, because it's New York, God bless them. With taxes, it comes out to like $206, $207. Now, before I get into the shoe, if you guys are familiar with my channel, you know that I like to do IDs. I'm a big fan of it. I love to create colorways. I feel that not Nike, but just brands in general, they sometimes can run colorways into the ground. I like putting my own vision onto a sneaker. It's something I'm pretty passionate about. So I say all that to say, this is not the first time I've done this theme before. If you go back, link up there, and watch, I did a RoboCop theme on my PG2s. Unfortunately, I sent them back because the materials, and if you watch the video, I mentioned it, the materials that they had on the metallic swoosh, I just could not get along with anymore, and for some other reasons, but I sent them back. So this is a RoboCop theme. This dip dye, this shoe has been dyed twice. So when you do the dip dye, you can either do it one time where it comes out a little bit lighter, or you can request things like a double dip dye or triple dip dye. There was this one dude there, his gray was super dark, and it's because he asked them to just let it sit in the dye for a certain amount of time. I don't know how long, but whatever the time frame was, he did it, and the shoe came out way darker than this. So outside of the dip dye, this is laser lining. So that black line that you're gonna see on every part of the shoe, that's laser lining. I'm not sure if they have to do the laser lining once you dip dye. I'm assuming so, because he never asked me if I wanted this. I did want it, but he never asked me. The other thing I would say is, I'm not sure if you do gray that you have to do black. If I were you and you go there, I would ask about that, because that's something that he didn't cover with me. Ask if you can change the laser lining color, because I'm not sure. Outside of that, you got your dip dye. This is the print. So if you notice, my swoosh is gone. When you first get the shoe, this big old swoosh is sitting right there. And when they ask you your first 5 questions, the question is, do you want this one taken off? The answer was yes. This is what I had left. You can stitch it back on. We'll get to that in a second as well. But for my theme, I thought it looked better to have a triple swoosh. You never see that on the Jordan 1. And then with RoboCop, it looks like an industrial finish, which RoboCop was a machine. He also got shot a lot, so I figured bullet holes, this would represent bullet holes. That's where my thought process came from. So this is my print. The print goes on the same place on both shoes, so that's not going to change. You only can get one print. I believe there are about 5 to 6 different options of print. Outside of that, the swoosh, remember, you go in order. So the swoosh is the first thing that you are going to want to either decide to do or not do. I didn't do one on this side, but I did put it on the medial side of the shoe. You only get 2 swooshes. They don't have to match. Mine match, they don't have to match. So this could be red, this could be green, whatever it may be. But you only get 2 swooshes, and then you decide, do you want to have it on the lateral side, or do you want it on the medial side, or do you want to put both your swooshes on one shoe? You can do that too. If I wanted to, I could have put a swoosh here and the swoosh here, and then nothing would have been on that shoe. This swoosh replaces this. This is on both the lateral and the medial side. It's just that I kept this because I did, but it came off my lateral side. The swoosh that was on the medial side, that's gone. After your swoosh, you have your Dubré, which, as you can see, the finish on that, it can't be scratched off really. It's like crystallized. I think I said laser before, but I think they call it crystallized. So depending on the way the light hits it, as you can see, it reflects in different ways, but I think it's pretty cool. If you're familiar with RoboCop, then you know ED-209 was the name of the machine that they initially were trying to have these mechanical officers as, but they malfunctioned, and then you had RoboCop. So those are the biggest components that you're going to have with doing the noise canceling pack. After that is free range. You can take a they have markers, but they also have paint. You can kind of see the paint here. Mine came off a little bit. That's one of the reasons I was very reluctant on using that paint, because I didn't think it was going to last that long. So what I did was I had colored the basketball silver on both shoes. Honestly, I wanted to write in silver Air Jordan, but the tip on the paint was way too thick, so I did it on the ball. But as you can see, it kind of has faded off a little bit. Now, I've only worn the shoe twice. So that's up to you how you want to do it, but I was very reluctant on using paint because I didn't think it was going to last long. Outside of that, your laces, I went red. Then your tab here. They have a variety of different pull tabs on your tongue. You don't have to do it. It's up to you if you want. I went with the gray pin on the inside and outside, and then I did carbon fiber. So before I mentioned how all of your accessories are laid out on that table, and they need to improve that, because essentially you saw the box that I have, it has paint all over it. I didn't do that. Like, I think what happens is when people are painting and they're customizing their shoes, it gets all over the place. So I noticed a lot of swooshes had splatters of paint on it. That also made me not want to use certain swooshes because they were already had paint, and I didn't want that on my own shoe. The other thing is a lot of the accessories started to run out, and unfortunately they low-key don't care. Even though everyone that's there, they were pretty friendly, I found a swoosh that I wanted because this was not the swoosh I was going to use. I was going to use a carbon fiber type material because, again, it's RoboCop. I thought that would have made everything come together, but they only had one. And when I told them, yo, I need another swoosh, they were like, well, you got to make do. So it kind of just changed everything I wanted to do, and I ended up going, I forgot what this material is called, but if you ever seen a Letterman jacket, that's the type of material this is, and that's what I went with. So personally, if you are going to do this, there are downsides to it, like the accessories running out. What I would recommend is try to get an early appointment, because I went for 6 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock they have 3 other appointments throughout the day. I don't think they're re-upping the different accessories after every appointment. So I would suggest doing a morning appointment. And also, to the douchebags that's out there stealing accessories, y'all are trash, because it's affecting everybody else. Like, come on, man, let's be civil. You have tips that you can add on to your laces. I think this is a very nice accessory or feature that's added in. You never really see that on laces nowadays for the most part. And that's where the screwdriver comes in. So this screwdriver is going to allow you to unscrew this. That's how you put the lace on. So if you think about it, there's no way that this lace is getting through this hole with this lace tip on. So you would lace the shoe up regularly, then you would put the lace tip on. Speaking about accessories running out, you would notice my lace tips don't match. People have told me they look good this way, but that was not my original design. I had to go with chrome on one side and the black on the other, and I was lucky enough to be able to mimic that same setup on both shoes, but that was not my intent. That's just how it came out because of them running out of accessories. You have your lace lock. So Jordan 6s are my favorite J's of all time. That's what got me into liking sneakers as much as I do now. So I had to make sure I got the lace lock, and this is like a graphite finish onto it. So think about it. If I'd have had that black Dubre graphite lace lock and then black lace tips, I think it would have looked better, but that's how it came out. Some of the things you'll notice is with the laser lining, it's gonna have effect on different parts of the shoe sometimes. I do believe they take the insoles out of the shoe before they dip dye, and the reason I'm saying that is because you'll notice the insole is still white. There's no way in hell they're dip dyeing the shoe and the insole stays white. If you don't want a white insole, and I did not know this, I'm trying to help you guys out from my experience. Tell them to keep it in so when they dip dye it, it's not gonna be white and it would match the same color as your shoe. Going back to the whole RoboCop theme, if you know anything about my guy RoboCop, one of his sayings used to be, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me," and that's where that came from. And then lastly, you have in black your Nike Air logo down at the bottom. A few other things just to go over with you in regard to some of the things I like about the noise canceling pack and things I don't like. Depending on the way you wear your shoe, you may not want to wear it unlaced like I do. Reason being is if you wear your shoes like this when you're walking, this is gonna fall into the shoe a lot or get stuck up here. Because the the lace tips are heavy, it sometimes will pull the lace down. So instead of lacing your shoe like this, you may want to use this lace lock up here and hold the two laces down in the middle. I've seen people do that. I just don't like wearing my shoes that way, so I'm an idiot. So I have to readjust my laces every now and again. The last thing is this tongue is pretty flimsy. So again, going back to the way you lace your shoes, I wear my shoes untied and just like this, and sometimes it's gonna flap and look crazy. So again, I have to sometimes just adjust the tongue. So the tongue is very flimsy. It reminds me of like a Virgil type of tongue, or a React 87 with it being so thin. But overall, I think Nike has something special with the House of Innovation store out in the city. They do have to make improvements, man. The shoe I think came out pretty good for what it's worth. I am happy with the decision of getting this done, because if I didn't and I saw somebody with a noise canceling custom shoe and I didn't get a chance to do it, I would be tight. The Jordan 1 is going to be available until December 20th. After that, they're going to change the shoe. I believe it's the Air Force 1. I'm not 1000% sure. And outsole, I forgot to cover it. This outsole, as you can see, I've worn the shoe twice. So the outsole was this color, but because I've worn it, you can see that it fades a little bit. Going back to paint, right? So I told you I painted that ball silver. I also painted the Nike down here silver, and as you can see, it has worn away a little bit. So my only concern is whether or not this dip dye and how long it's going to last, essentially, is my only concern. So far, so good. I actually have cleaned them with Reshoevn-Ator since I've gotten them, and it hasn't really affected the leather. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, this is bonded synthetic leather. All of the shoes that you're going to be dip dyeing has that same leather. It seems to take to the dip dyeing pretty well. I just hope that it lasts, because things like the additional paint didn't, and you can also see this kind of have worn a little bit more, and the silver is wearing a little bit. But typically around this time, I would rate these. I'm not doing that, being that I'm biased and I customize them. I would like y'all to let me know, what do y'all think about these? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being trash, 5 being fire, 3 being hitch, they alright. Let me know. Do you plan on going to House of Innovation? I'm going to be back in January for the Kobe Pro Tros. I got 2 more pickups on the way. I also have a special video I'm trying to drop before the new year comes in. Do yourself a favor, man. If you're not subscribed to my channel, don't miss out. Go hit that subscribe button.
They try to tell you it ain't about that money, but everybody I know getting to that paper. You be crazy to not do the same. Vader. Rolling off diesel, 18-wheeler. College grad turned dope rap dealer. Diamond from the mud, plans for a villa. But ramen noodle nights turn a preacher to a killer. Make a deal, kill it still, it's that real. Anything so your baby never miss a meal. Not having dollars turn more into a shotter. Henny gone chasing pain away with vodka. Friend of me say they with you, leave you in the dirt. Knew the plan, now they switching, try and get it first. Turn the bitches under pressure, they should wear skirt. Gold digging biddies, bunch of money, they won't get to learn. Hood starving like it's Ramadan, so we never take a short till money longer than a conga line. Consequence of never having shit. Running through the land of the savages, chasing at the dollar, 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 almighty dollar, 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 almighty dollar, dollar, dollar. They ain't waiting for them commas, even run up on your mama, even make a deal, kill her still, so they baby get a meal. Anything for the dollar bill. They ain't waiting for them commas.